Well, hello there. Welcome to my world and my 70s hair. That's okay. I like my 70s hair. I like my wings. I'll take that over looking like a skinhead that just got out of prison any day. What that new fashion fad is all about, I don't know. That's okay. I'll stay in the past. Welcome to my June update where I get to show you and talk about the latest additions to my collection that have caused my wallet great distress. It's the only part of my life that does not like my music and movie collection addiction, and that is my wallet, which suffers greatly for this addiction, but it's better than any other addiction. There's a lot more suffering in those, right, than what's in mine. So we're going to start off with music this time. I didn't have any music last month. I do now. And yeah, we're going to start with the music. Am I close enough to the camera? I can't show off anything. Maybe I should pull the chair closer. Or just move closer. Okay. Everybody knows I am a nutcase for Trivium, and so I got the remaster of What the Dead Men Say. I love this album. I'm very disappointed in their new album. It's way too screamo for me, but there's only really 2 albums that I don't have by Trivium because they are just too much for me. This is not one of them. I love this album. Trivium, What the Dead Men Say. As you may have seen me wearing shirts, I am an absolute freak for Five Finger Death Punch. They're one of my favorite bands, so I got some remasters of them. I got F8, their new album, which I absolutely adore. I got one of their older remaster of one of their older albums, Parental Advisory. Don't give me no clean shit. And this is what? The Wrong Side of Heaven, Part 1, and The Righteous Side of Hell. Absolutely love this album. It has a duo with them and Rob Halford from Judas Priest called Lift Me Up. That is just one of my favorite songs ever. Lift Me Up with Rob Halford and Five Finger Death Punch. If you've never heard it, look it up. So yeah, is on this album, The Wrong Side of Heaven and The Righteous Side of Hell. This is my favorite Five Finger Death Punch album, Got Your Six. It's got my very top favorite songs on it. Or it's got more of my top favorite songs on it than any other album. Lift Me Up is definitely one of my favorites, but this has my favorite songs on it, like My Nemesis and Wash It All Away. So, yeah, Got Your Six, my favorite Five Finger Death Punch album. And I got me some Judas Priest remasters. I got Nostradamus, which I know a lot of people have issue with this because it's a Pink Floyd type concept album, but I really love Nostradamus. And I got the remastered of Painkiller. Notice it says the remasters of Painkiller. And the remaster of Ram It Down. 2 of my favorite Judas Priest albums. I love that. So yeah. We have Trivium, What the Dead Men Say. 3 Five Finger Death Punch albums, F8, The Wrong Side of Heaven, Part 1, and Got Your Six remasters. And remasters of Nostradamus, Painkiller, and Ram It Down by Judas Priest. So that's my music for this month. And now we can move on to the cinema. We're going to start with DVDs like I usually do. I waited forever to get a hold of this. And man, the person who sent it to me, they screwed up and sent me some kind of TV antenna. And I like had to go, where's my movie? And why do I have an expensive digital TV analog antenna? I don't even know what this is. So they had to, well, they gave me a refund and sent me the movie, which was very nice. And then they sent me $20 and said, could you please send that to who it belongs to? And I'm like, okay. I mean, it's not costing me anything. And you gave me a refund for all the trouble you just caused me. So, yeah, that worked out pretty well. And, yeah, so this is called The Secret of Cincinnati, which is, one of those Indian burial ground type things. But I really, really wanted to see this. And I really wanted to have it. So I'm very glad to have The Secret of Cincinnati. Go watch the trailer. It's absolutely amazing. This is a European release. It's a French movie called The High Lane, which is just fantastic. Now, as I've said before, for people, if you can't find anything on the American market, you can at least watch it on your computer. Almost all DVD ROMs in a computer is region free. If you don't have a region free DVD player or Blu-ray player, you can always remember that you can get European releases. They will play on your computer if nothing else. So I really wanted this in my collection, so this is the European release. Scary as hell, this movie. And it does have English subtitles, so you do have to deal with that. I finally got around to getting this, The Final Girl. I heard it was kind of cool. So, yep. Vengeance shall be hers. Now, from what I understand, these rich punks, these rich kids, they like to they choose a victim every year, and they go out for a hunt where they do nasty stuff and kill her. Only this time, they picked the wrong one. Yes. I do love my After Dark Horror Fest and 8 movies to die for, 8 films to die for and stuff like this. I got this one called The Unrest to add to my After Dark Horror Fest. I've got a bunch of these. Their movies are usually pretty good. I think I just got 2 more in that will be in July's update. But this is Unrest. And this is a little movie called No Escape. The Blu-ray was too expensive. That's okay. I like DVD just fine as long as you take care of them. But No Escape, it's about a group of kids or young adults who go to participate in a reality show type thing only to find out it's not. So yeah, it isn't a game anymore. That should tell you all you need to know. Okay, we're going to move on to Blu-rays. Didn't have a lot of DVDs this time. This is a replacement. Shia LaBeouf, Disturbia, one of the best, cutest, greatest little movies. I love this movie. I've got it on DVD. Which I then put in here. I traded cases for a double case and put it in here. So I've got the Blu-ray and DVD now of Disturbia. I love this movie. Shia LaBeouf is just amazing. This is a newer Western. People know I like Westerns. And this is called The Last Son. The Blu-ray for The Last Son. Sam Worthington. Thomas Jane. So yeah. Goes into my Western collection. Mel Gibson. I heard this was a phenomenal movie. Dragged across concrete. Extremely cool, violent, action. So I'm sure I will have fun with that. He's made some good movies since he's been kind of forgiven about his antics. I replaced the the DVD of Blade Runner 2046 or 2049. Why do I always call that 2046? But so yeah, I'm glad to have that on Blu-ray. That's going to be beautiful. Okay. We have Train to Busan, the Blu-ray. So I got the Blu-ray for Train to Busan and the sequel, Peninsula. I understand they're totally different. That this, is a movie on its own. It's barely connected with the first one at all. I've heard all of that. I know these things. But I wanted them both. I think I will like them both because I will go into them knowing this has nothing to do with this and vice versa. It's just two totally different movies. They probably just slapped Train to Busan on this one for the selling power. But people who do go into it have told me that, if you go into it not expecting a sequel to Train to Busan, that it's actually a really good movie. So I'm fine. Peninsula and Train to Busan. I am excited to get to see Train to Busan, though. I've heard so much about it. This is a couple of Amber Heard movies, but I wanted John Carpenter's The Ward. It's got Amber Heard in it. She should have stuck to being a horror queen, after Mandy Lane, she could have done that, but instead, well, we know she's crazy, so, right? Because she did make a few horror movies after that, before she decided to, get all hoity-toity, and her career has been crap, really, Oh, she did Aquaman. Yeah, well. But John Carpenter's The Ward and Soon the Darkness is another Amber Heard movie. Sort of like that Mila Jovovich movie, The Perfect Getaway. They go on vacation and end up in a horrible horror movie situation. So, and Soon the Darkness. So, and The Ward, John Carpenter's The Ward. So yeah, we'll see what those are like. I replaced my two favorite Jurassic Park movies. I got the original on Blu-ray and Jurassic Park 3 on Blu-ray. I know 2 is okay. I'm not like super thrilled with 2, but it's fine. It's exciting. I like watching it. As far as what's his face, Chris Pratt. As far as his Jurassic Park movies, they're fun. They're spectacles. They're fun, except for the new one. I heard that sucked, and after hearing why it sucked, I agree that it's probably going to suck. I haven't seen it. So I do have 2 over there on DVD, but I just mean I haven't replaced it. I do have all the Chris Pratt ones on Blu-ray because my kid was, of course, a freak for them. But these are my two favorites, 1 and 3. I love 3 a whole lot better than 2. I love 3. 2 is fine. I like it. It's alright. 3, however, really thrills me, and the original really thrills me. These are the two best, even including Chris Pratt ones. So, that's my favorite. I finished up the Angel series with Angel Has Fallen. I do love the other two, London and Olympus. So I do like those movies. I do like this trilogy. And I finished up with Angel Has Fallen. This is a replacement. I replaced my my DVD of Salt with the unrated extended version. I love this movie. So yeah. Salt. This is also a replacement. I really, really love this movie as well. Kate Beckinsale of Underworld fame. This is a little horror thriller that she made in Antarctica called Whiteout. And I really, really like this movie. So I got it on Blu-ray. Let's move on to stack number 2. Don't you dare laugh at me. But I got Love, Simon. I thought I told you not to laugh at me. Look, if you horror hounds can post on Killer Flicks about how much you love The Lion King and Scooby-Doo, I can have my cheesy little movies as well. This is a great little coming out story. Is it PG-13 probably? Yeah. But if you can love The Lion King and Scooby-Doo, I can love Simon, okay? I've been waiting for this. Wanted to see this. This is case 39. You know? So, Renee Zellweger. I heard it was really good, so I'm glad to have it in my collection now, and I get to see it. This is Tobin Bell, that new movie they made. I heard some Lin Shaye, Tobin Bell, Lin Shaye, The Call. I heard some people are a little disappointed. I don't know. I probably won't be. But I got the Blu-ray of it. So yeah, I think I'll like it based on the trailer and the synopsis and everything. The Call with Tobin Bell. This is a replacement. I Am number 4. I love this movie, just like I love Jumper and movies like that. I love this movie. I venture into PG-13 land. Disaster movies, some action movies, some cheesy movies. PG-13 can be alright if it's not. I don't like PG-13 horror. That's the big thing. Sci-fi, mostly sci-fi, you know, like Steven Spielberg, like, well, my gosh, Jaws is rated PG. Get over it. But I like I Am number 4. So I replaced my Blu-ray with it. I didn't replace it. I still keep the Blu-ray. This is also a replacement. Or an upgrade. There you go. Lawless. I absolutely adore this movie. Shia LaBeouf. Again. You know. Is Tom Sizemore in this? but I actually love it. I love this movie. I'm glad to have it on Blu-ray. Yes, Tom Hardy, Shia LaBeouf. This is a Nicolas Cage movie that I heard about, and I went looking for it and was finally able to find it, called Joe. Now, that guy right there is from The Killing of a Sacred Deer. He's the psycho boy in that. But Ty Sheridan, Nicolas Cage, Joe. I heard this was like a really good movie. Go watch the trailer, get an idea. I replaced my DVDs of two of my favorite action movies. This is Red and Red 2. They of course both have their own disc, as I demand. But I love both of those movies. I love Red 2 just as much as I love the original. Both of them are flawless. One of the last of the really good Bruce Willis movies before he turned into his 5-minute cameo things was this and Venice. Those were like that was right there at the tail end of his career when he was before he was still making really good movies you could tell he loved making. Then he does whatever it is he does now. But Red and Red 2 double feature. Of course I just did this video, Ex Machina. I got that during June. Replaced my DVD of it. Or upgraded my DVD. Same with Ready Player One. I don't care. I like Ready Player One. Alright? So I got the Blu-ray DVD combo, which meant I could give my Blu-ray DVD away. But I love Ready Player One. I think it's very neat. And it's okay. I don't have to be screaming all the time. This got stole out of my mailbox the last time that I bought it, and I ended up having to pay like $5 more for it when I got around to, I had like a mail thief around here, and over a period of about 2 months, I lost like $150 worth of Blu-rays and DVDs that were stolen out of my box. Cops were all over this place like fleas on a dog, you know what I mean? Hopefully it scared them off, but summer of '84, I wanted it so much in my collection, I had to buy it again after it was stolen. But yeah, I heard that was a really great movie. So I'm glad to have summer of '84 in here. Now we're going to move on to the, I guess, more eccentric special stuff. We have the Steelbook of Scarface. The world is yours. I do have the 2-disc anniversary edition on DVD, which I will keep because of the special packaging. But this is the Steelbook Blu-ray of Scarface. Nice addition to my Steelbook collection, which isn't very many, but I do love Scarface. This is that new movie Antlers. I'm a sucker for these type of movies, and I've heard good and I've heard bad, but I'll like it, I'm sure. I know how to balance these things out for me, as far as making my judgment about it, and I will like Antlers. Did you? Let me know. Antlers. Okay, let's get on down to some really good stuff. We have the director's cut of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. That's cool. Personally, I didn't know there was a director's cut, or maybe I did and just never absorbed the knowledge. But finishing off, I'm getting closer to finishing off my Star Trek. This is a very controversial movie. Very, very controversial movie called Chained. A film by Jennifer Lynch. It's the story of a psycho guy who kidnaps this little kid and beats him and tortures him and torments him for years while he trains the boy to be his assistant in murdering women. It's not, he didn't chain the boy for that reason. He chained up the boy and trained him to be his assistant, and he's a serial killer who murders women, and he killed this boy's mother and then kept him as like a slave, like a pet dog, to help him. So it's very, very controversial. Have you seen this? This is an Australian movie along the veins of Wolf Creek called Killing Ground. It's IFC Midnight, which is Scream. IFC Midnight is sort of like a offshoot of Scream. If you'll notice, whenever you get an IFC Midnight movie, it says Scream Factory right beside it. But, yeah, you have the typical couple goes out into the woods, gets kidnapped, tortured, all this kind of stuff. The original Town That Dreaded Sundown, I love the reboot, which is not a remake. It's a sequel reimaging reboot, and I love it. I have it. Now I have the actual original with Dawn Wells from Gilligan's Island is in it. It's like Dawn Wells in a horror movie. That's interesting. But the original, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, RLJ. We have the IFC Midnight Scream Factory Rabid Dogs. This is a remake of an Italian horror movie. Horror action crime movie. Brutal, very, very brutal. So it can go in my IFC Scream Factory collection. We have Bronson, the Triple Threat. Now this comes with 2, 3, and 4. Now, I have, like I showed you last month, I have the Death Wish Steelbook, which is beautiful. I got this for 3 and 4. Not necessarily number 2. I got this because it's one of the few places you can get 3 and 4 on Blu-ray. And the reason that I did not get this for number 2, which is the theatrical version, is because I got this Shout Factory, Scream Factory, Shout Factory, whichever, Charles Bronson Death Wish 2 Special Collector's Edition. This is the unrated version, which is why I didn't get that Triple Threat for 2, because I've got 2, the unrated version. I am so beyond glad to have all of these now. I know there's a 5th one. It's very hard to get a hold of. This is the Scream Factory Collector's Edition of Pumpkinhead. Hallelujah. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It would be in my top 10 list of favorite horror movies of all time is Pumpkinhead. Think of that, what you will. but it's the truth. So I'm very glad to have the Scream Factory Collector's Edition. Oh yeah, DVD combo, DVD Blu-ray combo, Scream Factory Edition. I think, yeah, of The Burning. That is a major score point in my collection, to get The Burning Blu-ray and DVD combo. My camera's going, stop doing that. The Burning, of course, it comes with the reversible cover, which has the original, you know, the original poster. So now I've got it to go along with My Bloody Valentine and Sleepaway Camp and all the other ones of this that I have, which you would have seen in past updates. We have the Scream Factory Blu-ray DVD combo of The Final Terror. Another of my 80s loves, 80s slasher loves. The Final Terror, Scream Factory. It doesn't have a reversible cover, but it does have a poster. So that's very cool to have in my collection. I got some nice stuff this time, didn't I? And finally, I am so happy to have this. It's Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, or as I knew it as, Night Warning. Now, this is a Code Red release. If I can ever get around to doing that Trash the Boutiques video. Code Red is bankrupt now. Code Red is gone. But this is the Code Red release of Night Warning. I think it does have a reversible cover as well, with the original Night Warning poster. Its actual movie was, the actual name was Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. Jimmy McNichols, yeah. Code Red is an interesting story, which I will certainly highlight in that video if I can get around to doing it. But Code Red was one of those boutiques like Severin and Kino Lorber and Scream Factory and Arrow and all of them. However, Code Red tried to play Severin, tried to be that, as bad as them. The poor man tried, and he tried to change. He tried to change his business model to the Scream Factory, Shout Factory business model, but he did it too late. He tried to change it, I think it started in like 2008, Code Red, but they tried to play the, well, our target audience is plump incels in their mom's basement with too much spendable cash who like to brag like Eddie Murphy, you know, I got some ice cream and you can't have none because you're too poor and your mama's on the welfare and your daddy's an alcoholic, kind of thing. And it didn't work out for Code Red. At 2013, they tried to change the business model to be more like Scream Factory and Shout Factory, which means producing a decent run, you know, at a decent price. Instead of $3,000 or $5,000 for $50 or $40, you make $25,000 for $14.99, and you make 3 times as much money There's 8 million people on the planet. You don't think you can move 25,000 copies at a decent price? You can. Get out a calculator. Check it out. See? I'm going to do that video one day. But anyway, Code Red, they tried to be Severin. They tried to play that game and do that audience. But it didn't work out. That poor man, he even mortgaged his own home trying to save Code Red. But he waited too late, because it was like 2013 or 2014 that he changed the business model to producing a decent run at a reasonable price. But he was too deep in the hole and he couldn't save the company, and it went bankrupt. Lesson. But as you just see, I don't mind buying boutique videos as long as they're honest and as long as they're at a decent price, and stop trying to screw people out of $50 for a DVD, just or Blu-ray, so that you can go and brag on some Facebook site because nobody else can afford it. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Scream Factory and Shout Factory, yes, they can get that way, but at least it takes a few years for a Scream Factory release to go to those levels, because they print a decent amount and they sell them at a reasonable price. You know, when Code Red released this, it was like $14.99, $15.99, and they did a decent print run, which is why you can still get it reasonably, like Scream Factory and Shout Factory does. But yeah, there you go. My special ones: Night Warning, The Final Terror, The Burning, Pumpkinhead, Unrated Death Wish 2, yes. Rabid Dogs, those are all Scream Factory. Who did The Town That Dead at Sundown? Oh yeah. R.I.J., yeah. Killing Ground and The Chained, two very controversial additions. And that's it. So, I think I had a pretty good run for June. That was some nice stuff for my collection, and I got some stuff that I really wanted. I'm so glad to have Pumpkinhead, The Burning, Night Warning. I'm so glad to have some of these movies. The Final Terror, gosh, I remember that. Definite 80s slasher-orific. You know what I'm saying? So I will see you in the next video. Never forget, and always remember, you are a very special person. Don't let anyone or anyone else, or anything else, or anybody tell you differently. You are a very special person, very unique, the only one of you. Love you, miss you, bye, and thank you for taking some time to look at my stuff. And hopefully you got some ideas or some things you want to look into. And see if you can get a hold of. If you saw anything that you want to tell me about, like, oh, you're going to love that, or oh, you're going to hate that, or I loved it, or I hated it, I would love to hear any, comments, negative or positive, you have to say about the junk that I just managed to add to my collection. I will see you in the next video. Love you, miss you, bye. Always remember, support indie horror, support indie horror, support physical media. I'm not saying you can't go and have a streaming service, but don't you have some that you want to have? At least support some here and there. But and keep screaming, keep rocking very, very hard, and keep screaming, but only when appropriate. And I will see you in the next video. I'm going to go eat some Doritos and dip them in sour cream. That sounds good. I'm going to go do that. Love you, miss you. Bye. See you in the next one.